Okay. My name is Naomi Campbell, and today I'm doing my persuasive speech, and I'm doing it on why children should be introduced to healthy competition. So when I was a freshman in high school, I went and I tried out for my high school team's volleyball program. And before that, I hadn't really ever played volleyball competitively. I played in the YMCA since I was in 5th grade, and my mom was my coach. She played in high school, so she knew what she was talking about, but it definitely isn't the same environment. And I was going up against a bunch of girls that paid thousands of dollars to invest in their club volleyball experience for the entire year, and they started when they were in 6th grade. So you could say that I definitely had a lot of competition. Well, I ended up being the only freshman that made the JV team, and I think there was one freshman that ended up making the varsity team. And I went through the whole season on the JV team, and my coach approached me at the end of the year and had asked me if I wanted to join her club team for the off-season, for the high school off-season. My family couldn't afford it, so it wasn't really an option for me, so I had to decline. And that next season, when I went to try out for my sophomore year, she actually ended up moving me down a team in volleyball because she felt like I wasn't getting the practice necessary and she wasn't able to work with me how she wanted to. So instead of being on the JV team, I ended up being on the next lower team, which my school called the C team. So that kind of gave me a negative connotation with the word competition in sports and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to show everyone that competition is healthy and it's important for kids to be introduced to competition in a healthy way. You don't need to be screaming at your kids all the time. I think that really gives a negative connotation, but healthy competition is always good. It teaches a lot of life lessons. It makes you realize that you have to work for what you want, and competition also teaches you that losing is okay. Competition doesn't necessarily mean you have to win everything. It just means that you give it your best shot and you put all you can into it, and it's against other people, but it's not necessarily always winning. So the first thing I want to talk about is the life lessons, and according to the Institute of Public Affairs, it's a website that talks about different things from economics to sports to politics and all the above. They really stressed that competition creates virtue and character. Your character is built when you're in sports because when you're competing and say the competition, whatever you're playing isn't going well, you tend to get frustrated. And in those moments, that's when you have to really control your emotions, and you can't be yelling at other people that they're not doing their job when no one's perfect, and you really have to do the best that you can as well. And it also allows you to kind of compose yourself in stressful situations. Even in school, we all have speech classes or classes that stress us out, and some of us want to be valedictorian and things like that. So it's really important that we can compose ourselves in stressful situations. Competition also teaches us fairness and self-discipline. So it teaches us that we have to go to practice every day if we want to get better. It teaches us that we need to learn how to talk to other people and give them friendly advice or take constructive criticism. And these are all things that build character. Competition also teaches mastery of skill and talent over outcome. We have to remember that kids are kids. They're not professional. They're not being paid millions of dollars to play a sport. So when you see parents on sidelines yelling at their kids that they need to do better, that really creates a negative connotation for competition, and sometimes it makes kids not want to play sports anymore. So it's very important that we teach kids that competition is where you gain new skills and you are always improving and you have the discipline to keep moving forward. Now that we have talked about life lessons, let's consider the fact that you have to work for what you want. When you're getting a job, you have to have a resume and you have to be competitive in what you've done with your previous experiences. When you're trying out for a team, you have to show them that you're a hard worker, that you want to be there, that you're willing to do more than everyone else. So the main things that I want to focus on is that winning develops confidence, and so does competition. So when we all love the feeling of winning, so when we win, it gives us like a can-do attitude, and it really gives kids the confidence to keep going and maybe step up into a leadership position. It motivates kids to achieve bigger goals. So maybe when they see that if they're playing a basketball game, they can steal the ball from someone. Maybe next time they can block someone or steal the ball and go score a point instead of just passing it to someone else because they freak out. So it definitely gives kids the sense that they are gaining confidence. It also inspires them to do more than is required. If you're in a crowd and you see a kid sitting by himself, I think competition really allows you to be more confident in yourself and to include other people as well. It also allows them to develop strategic thinking, but it also allows kids to understand that they need to follow rules. Every sport team, every competition in life has rules that you have to follow. You can't just do whatever you want. So it's one of those things where you have to follow the rules and you have to be fair in order to get where you want to be in life in any sort of competition. The final thing I want to talk about is that losing is also good. Like I said before, competition isn't always about winning. It's not about being the best. It's also about being resilient and appreciating the effort that you put forth. So we all hate losing. It's not very fun, especially when you're working really hard. So disappointment is natural, but you also need to be able to regain stability in a situation and keep moving forward. So I think that's something that healthy competition teaches kids, is that even if they lose, they need to know that they put their best foot forward and that they can keep going, and they're going to face this team again, or if they're in a speech competition, they're going to face those people again, or in a job interview, they know how to be more confident. If they don't get the first job they apply for, that they need to keep applying because you'll get a job eventually. And you also need to appreciate the effort that you put forth. It's easier to accept a loss knowing that you worked hard. It's not always fun, but that's what you need to do in order to be competitive, is that you can lose gracefully and you can still tell people they did a good job. It also makes you appreciate your wins even more. When you're working hard and you win, that helps build your confidence as well. So at the end of this, I just want to say that competition can be healthy as long as you introduce it that way. And life lessons are taught during competition. Your character is built during competition, and losing teaches grace and appreciation for the hard work that you put in. Thank you. We hit that stop button. Just